thought like today I just missed 4. I should be able to correct 4 more, but I was kind of confused, and I just put the wrong one. And you didn't leave us any choices except just try once. You cannot try second time. So yeah. So I just messed it up. Like it's gone. It's okay.
So,
What I can do more? Yeah, I sent you that.
yeah, got it.
Okay, perfect.
So let's then the results first.
Yeah, it's not just.
Give me a moment. There seems to be some issue there.
Sure.
Maybe the slide is only down. Resetting. One of the nodes is fine. Okay. Also, one more thing. So far we have been doing stuff on CDH. right? But at the start of the class also, I told you that when you will join companies, organizations, you might see different flavors of Hadoop. We call it vanilla Hadoop. Okay? So somewhere you will see this on this thing only, CDH, the ones, the one deployment that we have been using so far. Okay, but apart from that, there is an upgraded version. CDH, the version we had been using was 5.12. So the latest version of CDH is somewhere around 6.3. And after that, Cloudera did not uh, upgraded it to any other further versions, but the latest version is now CDP, which is also called as 7.0 and above. Okay, now CDP is actually a combination of two kind of distributions. So Cloudera had CDH. Now there was another distribution of Hadoop called by Hortonworks, which was called HDP. Okay, so HDP, like in CDP, CDH, we had Cloudera Manager. While in HDP, the corresponding service was uh, Ambari. Okay, so whenever we had to log into the command prompt, we had to log in through Ambari in HDP. If I'll get time, I'll install HDP at some environment, and I'll show you how exactly it looks. But it's quite similar to how we have things on Cloudera Manager. Okay, and it's also um, just as a management portal for your Hortonworks for your Hadoop services. Okay. Now CDP was introduced after these two companies merged. Okay. So how Cloudera and Hortonworks have combined together now, and going forward, probably in another couple of years, you will see all of these versions being shifted to CDP, or the right words is being upgraded to. Okay, but it's important to understand these CDH and HTTP because right now, for another, I think 1.5 or couple of years, people are still going to use these versions until unless there is a specific plan of upgrade to CDP. And many organizations are using the CDH or the Cloudera's distribution. But yes, you might somehow like find that some people are using Ambari, but the concepts of Hadoop will still remain same. It's just the management portal, which is Cloudera Manager in this case and Ambari in this case, that is different. And the reason we chose CDH for all these classes because the future version of CDP, or we can say the latest version of both of these combined, is called CDP, and it uses Cloudera Manager only. So that's why we took it as a priority, and the whole class was discussed using the Cloudera Manager. Okay, let's connect to this. So tomorrow I won't be available. Next we will connect on Sunday. Okay, so starting with Cloudera Manager itself. Okay, so let's say your Cloudera Manager is not coming up, so you're trying to access these. So these are all real life situations you might face while working. Okay, so emphasis is how you will troubleshoot in today's class. So let me just try to open it up. Although this is working fine right now. Okay, so let's say this UI is not coming up for some reason. So what would be your approach? How would you troubleshoot? First, I want to know it from you. Okay, so my problem situation first is not opening. Okay, anyone? Okay, so let me just explain you this, and probably the next situations you can, guide me through. So first thing first. So I'll tell you that in a higher level how we will be troubleshooting. So we will have to make sure that networking is fine. We will have to make sure the component is up and running. You'll have to make sure that backend database connection is fine. Finally, there could be issues related to space or storage on server. And yeah, so when I take these are like in high level how we will troubleshoot a situation like this. Okay. So in networking, ports must be open and reachable. So when I say ports must be open, so what exactly is the port here? 7180. So I told you each server had a range of ports. So in any server, how you can connect to it is through ports to any service. When I just type the IP address, I did not give any port here, right? So in this case, the default port by default is 80, or we call it the HTTP port. This also works fine, as you can see. Even if I don't give it a port or I give it a port, both will be by default will come to 80. Similarly, if so, this is appearing as a non-secure because we are running something like this: HTTP : and by default the port is 80. So some of the ports are predefined, but some of them are not, and you have to make sure that these ports are reachable. So right now, my IP address, my server's IP address, trying to contact 7180 port. Okay, so my IP address is trying to contact this IP address or the server's IP address on port 7180. So we have to make sure that this port is up and it is reachable. So how we can ensure that? First of all, to check whether the port is up, the command will be netstat. The various option through netstat, but I prefer to use these 5. PULNP. You can read about this. What exactly these are. commands are, these options are. I hope everybody know how to read more about. So either you can Google it, but the easiest way to read about any command, right? You can just type man followed by that command. So this will give you all the options. Use the space bar to move downwards. Okay, so I've been using -p. Yeah, it's recording. I'll be using -p, -n. Okay, L, P, N, -n is for numeric. I'm trying to search for -t. Yeah, T for TCP. So we are trying to check the TCP port. So there are two kind of protocols in the internet domain. One is TCP, one is UDP. Okay, uh, these ports are the TCP ports that we are referring to right now. So I'm going to use TU. We are also using U maybe so that to just increase the range of options available. Okay, so when you're not sure whether it's a TCP or UDP, you can use both these options as I'll be using. And N is for numeric. I want to check the numerics, numeric value associated. Similar the L and P. L is 2. I want to check all the ports which are listenings on these particular sockets. I don't see P right now, but you can check about P also. So anytime you feel to read about a command, just type man followed by the command. Okay. So how to check a particular port? I will just do net start. I will use those options. All the options are provided with a hyphen sign. Now, if I just type this, you'll see all the ports of UDP type, TCP types, which are listening. So this is my IP address, and this is the port that is running currently. It's in listening state. What does it mean by listen? Is that other processes who are trying to connect to my server can connect using this port. Now I am interested right now on port 7180. So I will just grep. So whenever you want to filter out this whole thing and just just filter out on the basis of the concerned thing that you are searching for. Right now I'm searching for 7180. That's why I will use grep. It came out, so it means that my port is up and running. Okay, it's up and running and I can able to listen to on this server. So that's why I was able to connect on port 7180. I also ensured that my security group. So when I change the inbound rule, basically I enable it. So there could be a reason, there could be a case wherein, so right now I have given every, so this is my IP address. This is my IP address and it has all traffic permission to connect to the server, right? But let's say I instead of all traffic, I change it to some other port. Custom protocol. Okay, so custom TCP, I just change it and I gave value 7181 for example. So in this case, I am only allowed to connect to the TCP port 7181 of that server. Now if I just say this, you will see that I will no longer be able to connect. Even my SSH connection would have been lost. See, I can no longer connect, but I think because I was already connected on that port before, so this is working fine. But otherwise, even this won't work fine because I don't have any more SSH permission. Now, when I SSH, right, it's always on a predefined port. I think SSH also works on port. Let me check. So if I would have to just allow my server to SSH, that's basically on port 22. So some of the ports are predefined. Mostly you will find this from 0 to 1024. You will find ports as predefined, but above that, all the ports uh, you can ensure that what service runs on which port. So this is one scenario wherein you might not be able to connect to your server, and I think we had been doing this a lot of time. So every time I tell you to check your security groups whenever you are trying to connect. So first situation to check is your networking. All of this comes under the networking concepts. Your ports, your security group. So you might have physical servers sometimes. In some companies, they are not using cloud, they're using physical servers. So even there, you have to ensure that this netstat command is coming up with the process. Okay, and it's available in the listen mode. If this thing doesn't comes up, that means that the service is either down or the port is already utilized. Okay, so now talking about the port already utilized error. So let's say uh, my Cloudera is down. Okay, so now I have switched off the Cloudera SCM server, and yeah, if I do netstat now, nothing will come up because service is not running, and so nothing comes up because it's not in the listen mode. My server is not having any service running on 7180 in the listen mode. But let's say I start a service, so I would want to run a Python server, or somebody is already running some job or some application which is exposed on this particular port. Right now I will just use a simple HTTP server, and I will run it on the same port 7180. Okay, so my server is started. So if I come here, although you will see that something is coming up. Okay, I think I did not change the inbound rules yet, so I will have to change it back. This time I'll just make it, instead of all traffic, all TCP, so that you can see the range of ports. Okay, this is the range of ports we have on any server, or otherwise I can just make it custom TCP, and I'll just allow 7180 and SSH port also, or just do something like this. Okay, somehow it's redirecting to CMF. Let me open it in another browser. You can see the hit is coming on this server. This is my IP, 182.64.152. If I just check it again over here in the inbound rules, see, we have allowed this IP on this port range, and that's why my server is showing my IP address, which tried to connect on this date, this time, got an error, 404. 404 means something is not found. So basically, the Cloudera is redirecting to this -CMF. That's why it's getting a 404 not found, because CMF is not available on this particular server that I started. Okay, but the point I'm trying to show here is, so right now I started a server on an port 7180. Okay, so this is, we are getting a response over here. That means that my server is actually trying to hit it. So you can see, if I just make it like this and again try to hit it, you will immediately see a response here. See, from here. So my server tried to access it. So this is like, I just wanted to show how these interactions work. Now something is already running, right? Let me just again connect to my server in another command, in another console, and I will try to start my Cloudera server now. Okay, and let's try to start this server. So, service Cloudera SCM server start. Okay, it says started, but I doubt. Okay, this says started. Let's try and see if this is working. Still 404, but this says it's running. Okay, so what could be a reason? So in this situation, we are totally stuck. Let's say this kind of a server was started by some other admin. Okay, somebody else is already running it when you are unaware of this situation. So how would you now troubleshoot such a networking scenario? Okay, although when I do a status, it says it's running, but if I try to access it from here, it's not running. We are not able to open the Cloud Manager. So in any such situation, the first thing is always check the logs. And I'll put this into bold because a lot of your issues, whether it's networking, whether it's component up not running, backend database, storage server, all of these kind of issues you can fix by first knowing the exact reason behind it. How would you check the reason? Check the logs. Make it a habit as an admin to do this more often. Okay, you should more often go to the logs and check it. Now the problem here is that you are unaware about the logs location also, right? Every time I've told you, so let's say if something is wrong with HDFS, go to the Cloud Manager. In the HDFS config, you will be able to find the log location, right? But now, right now we don't even have that option to open the Cloud Manager. Okay, so by default, every time in such a situation, you should always look in the directory. Well, I think I've told this multiple times also, right? So right now we are concerned with something related to Cloudra SCM server. So I will go to this particular directory. But if even if for Hadoop services, by default, if people have not changed this location, this is going to be your default log location. So I'll go to this location. I think it put capital N. Okay. Inside this, I will check my log file. I will try to see what exactly is the issue. Let's VI it. Shift G. Okay. So this is what I was looking for. Bind exception address already in use. This thing points to that some of that my address which needs to be associated. Now, what is the address that needs to be associated? You can see it. 0.0.0.0. This means that every server in the internet should have access to my server over the port 7180. And over there, you can see bind exception address already in use. Whenever you see this error, this exception, that means something is wrong with the port. Okay, so just hypothetically think it of a situation. You just now trying to log in. You're not aware that somebody has run on port 7180. But when you log into your logs, you check your logs and you see this error. So the next thing I will do is, as an admin, my server is not coming up. It's pretty important for me to start it. So I will check which service is actually. I will try to check if 7180 is already up and running. I see yes, it's running. Now, which is the process ID which is trying to run it? This is my process ID. And this is the type of application which is running. Definitely, I ran a Python application here. I ran a Python application, right? So this is my application which is already running right now also. I have not stopped it. Yeah. But since I'm unaware, of this console, I'll do the net stack. I'll find out, okay, 7180 is already being used by this process ID. I can get more information about this using a ps-ef. I told you ps-ef will tell you process ID information, and I'm already concerned with this process ID, so I have just grepped over this. So it says, okay, 9143 has been run by root user on this time today, and this is the command which is running. So what I'll do is I'll just simply kill this. No questions asked, because my critical service is affected because of somebody's running of 9143. So as an admin, you have this power. You don't need to ask this person why is he running. The person will see something like this. Okay, and if I'll just go to my logs again, so this time I'm not doing a VI, I will do a tail. These are all helpful utilities when you are troubleshooting. Okay? Tail will print the last 100 lines of the current log file. So this time it won't work because it's already, the Cloudera manager has already surpassed the connection thing. So I would probably have to restart it. I will just restart it from this side. So instead of stop or start, I will say restart. You will see some log files printing up. Whenever you get time, try to read this complete log file. You will understand step by step what exactly happens at the back end. Okay, how does Cloudera Managers tries to connect to the database at the back end. So here it's trying to connect to a database this time. Since we are using an embedded database, right? It's a Postgres SQL which is running on 7432 port. Now I'm expecting this to work fine, and if everything works fine, you will see. Okay, connection refused. Okay, now it connected. I'm waiting for the same thing, 0.0.0.0. That means the server has published itself on the port 7180. Okay, over here it does says it, but I'm getting some connection refuse, which I think did got solved. So I'm expecting it to run fine. Yeah. So now my Cloudera manager is up and running fine. So this is the networking aspect. Okay. The other aspect we already figured out. So if I stop the component, it's it will not come up. So you can see that also by this thing. Status command, right? So every time service Cloudera SCM server status. So if it's running fine, it will come as active. But in such situations like before, even though it was coming active, we were not able to open the server, right? So your go-to situation in those cases will always be go to the log file, check the logs, search for errors. Make it a habit as an admin. Always go to the logs and check the values, check the errors into it. Okay. Now backend database. So services like Cloudera, and not just Cloudera, Hive, Metastore also. Cloudera Manager, you, Uzi, they all connect to a backend database of MySQL type. For those who don't understand what is a MySQL, what is a RDBMS, just consider it as a age-old database which we are still using for some small but critical purposes. Okay, so before Hadoop, people were using MySQL, but in Hadoop also we are still using it only as a backend database to store our metadata. You must have heard this word a lot of times from me, metadata. But this time the metadata is associated with the services. So when I say Cloudera Manager metadata, so whatever you see on this page, right, even this login information, this is all stored in that backend database of the Cloudera Manager. All these issues that you see, warnings, everything, these are all actually stored in that backend database service. And if you just take a look at this log, you will understand what is that service. So if I just scroll it up, initially itself, it will try to connect to the database. See here, JDBC connection using driver of Postgres. So it's a Postgres SQL. There are multiple kind of SQL available in the market. Oracle, Postgres, MySQL. Okay, but the what comes inbuilt into the Cloudera Manager is the Postgres SQL. So which is running on port 7432. I can check this also. Coming back here. So all these errors and everything that you see, right? This is stored somewhere, right? It's not coming by default from a situation. This information of one critical health issue or 7 critical health issues about any service, this is being stored in this backend database of the Cloudera Manager 74, which is running on port 7432. We can check it also. I will again use Mixstat. So you can see it's a Postgres server of, this is the application ID, which is running on TCP and TCP6. TCP6 is IP version 6. So IP has two versions. IP version 4 is the one we are using. Then we also have an IP version 6. No need to go into version 6 for now because it's a future concept. Some services have still started using it also. But mostly we are concerned with IP version 4. Okay, so this is a database which is storing all this information. So we have to make sure that this database is up and running and it's working fine. Otherwise, you won't see any of these data on the Cloudera Manager. That's why I mentioned the backend database should be up and running. So this is not just for Cloudera Manager, it's also the same for iMetaStore, Uzi and Q. Okay. Next is the space and the storage. So sometimes you might see an error happening because the space is all utilized. So how would you check that? Command is df-kh. Most of your issues you will be related to space. You can figure out using this command. So right now my slash is around 90% full. But let's say if it become 100% full, then my services will stop working. These all services, because they are storing some information. Even if I talk of the log file, this log file, right? This log file is pointed on the slash location only. If I do df-kh over this folder, you can see it's mounted on slash. So this directory is mounted on slash. So if it becomes 100%, there will be no space to be written anymore to this file. And if there is no space to be written on the log file, ultimately your service will hang up and stop. So we have to ensure that this is always below a threshold. Mostly people or organization wants you to make sure it's below the 65% mark. Not just for slash, for other directories also. Although primarily this is not your responsibility, it's the Linux servers, Linux admin person's responsibility, but ultimately you also have to ensure, because your services are directly or indirectly affected if this becomes 100%. And this has to be taken for all the directories. This is also our as an admin responsibility. Otherwise, my services will stop. And even if you are not doing this command, again, you will see if this becomes 100%, you can open up the logs. The last line it will print is out of storage and service stopped in this case. I cannot create a situation like this right now, but yes, it does happen in practical situations, and you must know that where you have to look. Again, you will find it in the logs. So all of this I told you, any issue, these are the like primary issues that I experience a lot that I have listed. But there can be some other kind of issues also, or because of which the services is not coming up, and not just for Cloudera Manager UI. It can be with any service within Hadoop also. Your first go-to point should be the log location. So where log Cloudera SCM server when I am working with a Cloudera, if the issue is concerning to some other service, let's say Hadoop HDFS, I can go to this directory, YARN for this directory, HBase, Hive, View. So all the service have their own folder created by default. I was mostly going into this. Okay. So this is the approach. I used it for Cloudera Manager. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give an assignment to all of you. So I already have credentials of ASA. I will do something. I will make sure that your Hive is down and your HBase is down. Okay, Isa. And next thing you will have to do is till Sunday you will have to fix it. I don't know how you do it. So I already told you the process. Same is the case with others also. If you already have a cluster up and running, just share your, or you can start it right now. And or otherwise also if you just want to practice it using ESA, even that is fine. So what you can do is you all four can connect together over a meeting and solve that situation for me. Okay, solve your cluster down situation. Even right now I can see a lot of things are red. I want all this to be green. Consider me as your boss right now in your organization, and this is the cluster that I own and I have employed you. Okay, but I don't like it to see as red. I don't like it to see these configuration issues over here. Some services are appearing as stale, they need restart. Okay, so I want you to fix this. And meanwhile, although it's just some services are appearing red, but I also make sure that some of the services are down. Or let me just do it right now only. Okay, I can see some services are already down. So I think this situation is already sorted. So just, the next class when I meet, I want all of this to be working fine. They should be green. Okay. The status should be healthy for my cluster. Right now, a lot of services are unhealthy. Okay. Bad health, bad health, bad health. Whatever is the issue. Now you know the process how to troubleshoot it and fix this cluster for me. And I want you four to connect and work, together, because creating separate issues for on separate clusters would be a little difficult for me. But yes, when you finish this, when you make it green, I also want to see your clusters, your individual clusters to be green also. Okay. Now, in this case, I'll also give you one hint. So I already knew what a bind exception was, right? I knew that, okay, if something is coming as a bind exception, it has to do something with the port. Now, if you see some other error apart from this, how will you troubleshoot? There is nobody to tell you about errors, right? So you have to do it on your own. So how would you study more about it? So in this situation, Google is your ultimate help. So let's say I got this error. I don't know nothing about this. What is this? Why is it happening? I just don't know about it. So how will I get to know that? What should I do? Go to Google. Simply paste this error. Now here you might see there are around 66,000 results. Now this is your, what do you say about it? So this is your intelligence. Out of these results, which do you find more useful, and which way you would try to apply? So right now I can see some error like this only. Startup fails due to Java exception already used. I will go there. I will try to read about it. What could be an issue? Oh, here it has so neatly. This site has very neatly described the issue. Cause port is using to startup is in use. This can be used by another application running on the port. Resolution. So they are talking about some other application right now, Confluence. You can replace it with a Cloudera manager and try to troubleshoot it. They're trying to check using netstat an, and then they try to kill the process. See, the complete resolution is already available on the internet. So you don't need anybody to ask about it. But the only point is you should know which side to pick out of the 66,000 results. That is your eye for the detail, what you say, right? How you segregate this and how you. So even though I know that this is the right resolution, but it's ultimately up to you to decide whether it's right or wrong. Okay. So start developing this thing. So any error, any issues that you see, you don't understand about it, you cannot read it in any books, try to Google it, try to figure out if others are also facing it. There are some Hadoop communities also, Hadoop community groups of Cloudera also. Yeah, so one more hint. So mostly try to see it with respect to Hadoop. So right now this error is related to my Cloudera manager. So I will put in another keyword. So now the community Cloudera. Okay, this is a community that Cloudera has created. Try to search for your errors on those community pages. That would be more appropriate. Okay. So your task is make your cluster green. This all should be green and healthy and happy, and also on your individual clusters also. Any doubts?
So for if the cluster 1 is not working, like if it's down, so I have to make my cluster 1 active, and then I have to make this enter stuff green, right?
Yes.
That's what you meant.
Yes, exactly.
Like first I have to cluster 1, I have to make it work, the cluster 1, and then the sequentially I have to make all the red things green.
Yes, yes. So this red thing is appearing only because this Cloudera Manager service. If I just stop it now, you won't see. And this Cloudera Manager service is actually connected to the backend. So all this stuff that I told you here, that's only because the Cloudera Manager is able to pick the status of it and store it in the backend database. Okay. So I fixed that situation for you. Even I could have done is to stop this server, and I would have told you to fix it. So right now you can see there is no status. So first thing first, when
But you have
start
to, you have to run it.
yes, you have to run it.
Yeah, but when you started, the cluster 1 is red. So you want me to fix the red on the cluster 1 as well, right?
See, this is the only cluster you have.
So,
Cluster 1 is the only cluster.
right.
We don't have any other cluster right now. Okay, so yes, but this cluster
Right.
is being monitored by this service. So all those status that you were seeing,
Right.
they were being monitored because
Yeah.
of the Cloudera management service. So ultimate
Cluster 1.
first thing, how will you figure out what is wrong with the cluster is that first thing first is this should be up and running. Okay. So I
Yeah.
want you to fix now when it will start. Now I see what is the exact issue with my services. So your task is to fix all these issues. Although see, even if I run my HDFS command, it will be working fine. Right now, I think most of your issues that you see here will be resolved if you start these two servers, which is currently I did not start. I just started your Cloudera manager.
Yes.
Right. So if you start the other two servers, most of these issues will be resolved. So this is one troubleshoot. But even then, I think so Hive has recovered it by itself. But I think there would be some more issues. So your task is to make it green like this, good health, all the services. Okay. Fix all these health issues. You can see mostly issues are because the servers are down. Most issues, process status, process. So mostly issues will be solved by this only. But yes, make sure the cluster green, and when it's green again in the next class, I'll again make it red by some more issues for you to troubleshoot.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So that's all for today. And once we are through with troubleshooting by this week, I will pick up the other part. Okay, let me just stop it for now so that we don't forget.
Okay.
So after this, we will get into more advanced Linux, and I want you to, I think I told 4 also, make an account or hacker rank, and start solving these challenges by yourself. Because ultimately reading about issues, reading about commands is boring. So you should be challenged with a question. That's how you will tend to learn. So let's say if this is my challenge. Again, my password is. So this is the challenge I want you to practice. So it ranks you based on how many points you have achieved, and this is on the world level. I think all the people who have logged into HackerRank, they might be practicing some challenges. So you will start with the basic one, the easy one, and then you can do the hard ones, and it will give you points for it. So very first command, let's say if this is my first command. So what is the question here? It says write a bash script that prints the string hello. So why do I need to first of all write a script? Are mostly required whenever you want to standardize a process. So commands I already know. I know the command how to run it, but I want to standardize it. Next time I don't need to remember those. I will save it in a file, and those kind of files I call script. Okay, so you should understand what is the need for a script first. Okay, so this question says write a bash script that prints string hello. There is no input given, but the output should come as hello. So what should the command I use? You can simply type echo hello and try to run this code. So congratulations, the test case has passed. So that means I can submit my code now. So as soon as you submit it, it will run 2 more test cases. If everything works fine, your code will earn you certain points. This is how HackerRank works. So every question is a challenge, and this is right now we are solving the Linux challenge, and you can move ahead one by one to each challenge and solve the corresponding question. So start from small. Right now, I was at the hard level. So ultimately you will reach to a situation where you have to solve these kind of Linux questions. Okay, it's pretty good site, pretty good questions. You can uh, check it. Okay, so this is rank is for this particular question. Somebody from all these people are participating. Okay, so just whenever you get time, start practicing on this site also, and when you practice it over here, try to run the same command on your Linux server also. Okay? Try to see what is coming up. Okay, any questions, any doubt?
No, so you said just get together and try to do it on
Yes. So I just
Isa's
give you a solution. So
for
I just
Sunday.
give you like an option that you can do this. Okay, I first thing first, I want Isa's cluster to be healthy, so you guys can connect together. Connect if you want me to open a meeting for you. I will make it open, and you guys can connect on that meeting and try to make so not just Isa. If you want to troubleshoot together your own issues on your cluster, do that too. But I want in the next class all of your clusters should be green and healthy. Okay. So any way that you think is good, you can use that. And following it, if you have your clusters green, I would also make sure that you solve these challenges and get some good ranks on this page also. Okay, so that's it for today. I will try to log into Kahoot again to pull in your answers. Maybe something is wrong right now with this site, and I will try to post this by this weekend. Anybody else? Shantanu, Isad, any questions? Are you guys listening or going to follow the video? Just showing me your names here.
No, I'm trying to get that slow by slow.
Okay, that's fine.
A little behind you, but I'm trying to catch up.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. Okay, thank you for joining, guys. Good night. Bye.
Good night.